Hi Kiwi, and welcome back to another episode of Hades 1. This is our mirror setup for the day. We are going to be taking the aspect of Chiron on the bow, and we're going to be going for our 32 heat run. I am going to go for a little bit of a maybe suboptimal 32 heat, or maybe more difficult is how I would phrase it, because I want to get a specific build going, so I'm not taking any convenience fee or Underworld's customs, which is an easy 4 heat. We're going to take 1 level of lasting consequences, max out jury summons, max out extreme measures. We're going extreme measures 4 here. Maxing out benefits package, middle management, forced overtime, and 2 levels of damage control and tight deadline for a total of 32 heat. Continuing our challenge. We're more than halfway there now. I am going to be going for a Sea Storm build on the special, so we need a good Poseidon special. Okay, of these hammers, I mean, triple shot is never a bad choice, but I'm going to take piercing volley because we really are going to be playing around the special. I have mixed opinions about piercing volley. Overall, I think it's a good boon, but there are some instances where I've seen it kind of maybe do some silly things in sticks particularly. I think it kind of changes the arc of which your arrows fly. I could be mistaken about that, but I feel like I have had an instance where something felt different. I don't know, maybe it reduces your range slightly or what. Either way, Chiron has incredible range. It is by far one of the safest aspect weapons in the game, and it was my first weapon to get me to 32 heat, and I think for a lot of others it was probably the same, because you can play so far back and just kite out enemies. I think the Dionysus special is probably the best boon for it in that regard. Alright, we're getting an Artemis gate here, but I wouldn't mind getting a good Artemis boon here, honestly.
We shall see how good you really are.
Her attack is probably most worthwhile for me on this build. Need to be a little careful here. So, the reason why I'm taking this gate is Artemis is actually really incredible for a Sea Storm build. She critting on Rupture, critting on Jolted, critting on just your base damage, every lightning bolt that drops. We can't get Lightning Rod with our current Bloodstone from the mirror. We are not, what is it? We're running, I think, Infernal Soul instead of Stygian Soul, or the other way around. We're running Stygian Soul. We're running Stygian Soul instead of Infernal Soul, so we can't get Lightning Rod, her duo with Zeus.
Hello again. You ready for this hunt? Me, I've been looking forward since last time, so let's get on with it.
All right, could I please have your attack? No, I cannot. All right, I'm gonna honestly reroll here because I want to save my cast for now, potentially maybe get something better. True Shot is kind of not that impressive, although she does give us an attempting one here. All right, we'll take Deadly Strike, 30% more damage on the attack, and there's our first Poseidon boon. Hopefully Popo gives us a good special. Why did I call him Popo? Oh well, whatever. For numbskulls, sometimes it's better to spray and pray with your special, especially with Piercing Shot, because you're gonna pierce through all of them. Mostly it's just for these little easy to kill enemies particularly. But don't forget to toss out your cast periodically. That boiling blood damage modifier is nothing to sniff at. It is pretty substantial. I mean, it's 50% more damage. That might be the difference between one-shotting these guys with the special and not. At least for some of the higher HP enemies.
Water can even cut through solid stone with enough time, so you keep at it there.
Alright, Poseidon, what have you got? Highest tier attack, not bad, but not what we want. So let's reroll.
I would like none of these. And
we get his lowest tier special, which is a little disappointing, but oh well. With this shop, though, we should, or with this next chamber, we should be able to get enough, enough coin to buy both a palm and a boon from the shop. So hopefully we get something good there. We do want to see Zeus as soon as possible. Oh gosh, this is bad. That was a nice 20% damage. Now, one thing I should point out, because I've done this, and I'm messing around with it, is I am not taking Underworld, or I'm not taking, what is it, Hidden Security, the boon that makes traps deal 400% more damage, which means 80 spots won't one-shot me. They won't deal 40 damage, or 150 damage in one hit. We'll take the shop here because we can, in fact, afford a boon and a palm, either of which would be nice. Who do we see? Dionysus and a palm. I'll take the palm first and toss it on the special. That'll give us a nice 28% more damage. Awesome. And then Dionysus, Trippy Shot, please? Excellent. Okay. I'm taking Trippy Shot because I wouldn't mind seeing Scintillating Feast on this run. Scintillating Feast is always a great boon, and it's a pretty good damage for the build we're going around, so hopefully we start to see Zeus soon, because if we get forced into another god, we're basically SOL in terms of getting Sea Storm going. But I do honestly really like Poseidon's special. It has very high base damage modifier. Razor Shoals is an amazing curse, or Rupture, I guess is the actual name of the curse itself, and Sea Storm is just so incredibly powerful. I mean, we've proven that with a number of builds on this run. There's Zeus, okay. Okay, excellent. All right, so let's go for that Zeus boon. It's a mini boss Zeus, so we'll get a high tier boon. We're gonna look for either his dash or his call. I think preferentially I would like his dash. As much as I don't quite care for using his dash, it's probably most optimal here because it'll set us up for...
Here's something I can do to help, young man.
It will set us up for his legendary, or not, well, not his legendary. It will set us up for double strike. That's what I'm trying to say, because double strike is absolutely busted with Chiron, and I'll explain that in a second. Let's go for coin, because we're going to need to be able to afford as much as we can. The one weakness of Chiron that I like to point out is that it's a relatively slow weapon, especially in early game. If you can get it stacked up, it plays very fast, but sometimes what I recommend doing is you give up tight deadline levels for maybe calisthenics program, which generally I say avoid calisthenics program like the plague, kind of in similar measure to Extreme Measures 4. You're making your boss fights longer and therefore harder. But if the whole point of Chiron is the fact that you can kite enemies to oblivion and back, if you're never getting hit, then you're gonna win your run. And that's how I did my first ever 32 heat. I kept forced overtime off, I think, as when I did this. And what I did was I maxed out basically everything that was like making enemies tougher to kill, and then I just kited them out, but I kept Extreme Measures 4 off for sure. And damage control definitely gets trivialized by Chiron, considering it is such a rapid-fire kind of bow. It hits so many times at once that it's very easy to break damage control very quickly. I am trying to avoid all these mines. I don't know how I managed that, but I sure did. Wow. Ooh, a Dionysus Zeus trial. We can't get duos here, but I don't care. I want a Zeus boon. I want as many Zeus boons as I can stack. Now, again, we're running up against tight deadlines, so I have to be careful about that. Between Zeus and Dionysus, who is easier to deal with? I think it's in this aspect, it's not so much who's easier to deal with, and more so who's going to give us more damage. And the objective answer is Zeus. Static discharge and jolted damage is a lot, does a lot for us.
Oh, come on, Zag, and here I thought that we were cool. You hurt my pride there, man. I guess I'm gonna have to hurt yours.
Would have definitely preferred seeing double strike there, but jolted is just as good. Jolted is phenomenal, because now, once we get Razor Shoals from Poseidon, we have status privilege going, and that's going to be a 40% damage up. And in the meantime, we're getting a ton of damage from jolted. You'll see when we get to the bosses, we're going to be melting them, of course with our base damage, but getting lightning damage on enemies is going to help too. And thankfully, because we do have Zeus's dash, I'm able to reliably apply jolted in the meantime as well. Like, it's not going to do as much for us without Sea Storm, because Sea Storm, because it is based off of Poseidon boons, you're always going to be applying both rupture and jolted on enemies, so you're instantly the first special that you hit on an enemy is just going to immediately have half status privilege applied, so the rest of your shots are going to do enhanced damage. It's just, the status privilege is so good. It's just there are some builds where you don't really want to plan around it. I think the best example would probably be when you start off building around Artemis, because Hunter's Mark is a very unreliable way to get status privilege going. I would say there are some gods that just don't work as well with status privilege, but even then, status privilege, it's 40% damage.
All right. We're cool. No need to get all hot and bothered any longer here.
I would say like Dionysus and Aphrodite are the easiest ways to get that going. Okay, we'll definitely take Strong Drink here. That will help keep us alive, and don't need the gem. Excellent. Another Poseidon boon. We could, in fact, see Sea Storm as early as this chamber, which would be nuts, which is unlikely. Another really good potential, not guaranteed, but would be interesting, is if we got I think it's exclusive access, the boon, the duo between Poseidon and Dionysus, that gives us more palm levels. That's incredible in Tartarus, because I'm going to be honest, I think exclusive access is generally a terrible boon, because the odds of actually seeing it at a useful point, like most of the time when I go hunting for duo boons, I don't see them until Styx, and it hurts me a little bit. When you get an early duo boon, it can just carry the run. And in exclusive access, the way it works is it makes it so your palms give 2 levels instead of 1. And that's incredible the earlier it is. The later into the run it is, like when I usually see it in Styx, the worse it becomes, to the point of being virtually unusable if you're not getting palms. But if we were to get a bunch of extra palm levels, especially if we can stack those on double strike when we get that from Zeus, amazing, would be an incredible DPS up. Alright, Poseidon, what have you got? Mirage Shot? Well, not my first choice here. I don't think I re-roll though. I take this because it'll up the damage on Trippy Shot. I'll take it, I guess.
Poseidon's strength.
I wonder how Mirage Shot synergizes with Scintillating Feast. Alright, we have our 4 gods, so there's no reason not to take that mystery boon. It'll be one of the gods we're looking for, hopefully one of the ones that matters. Let's see what we're getting for fish here. Now, I'll focus on the Fury fight, and then I'll go into a little bit more detail about why I was saying double strike on Chiron is kind of busted.
Good tidings, nephew.
Alright, Razor Shoals it is. Okay, excellent. So now we will... No, we still don't have a reliable status privilege, but we're halfway there. Once we get Sea Storm, we're basically set. And we've gotten a lot of the important boons that we're looking for fairly early on. We're still looking for mostly Zeus boons at this point.
Hello, Fury sisters.
Alright, I do need to be mindful of tight deadline here. I have 30 seconds to beat the Furies, which I could in theory do. I just don't expect to be able to do it. Yes, I know. Dong, dong. Where are you, Tisiphone? Alright. Yeah, so we're probably going to start ticking on damage from... She might dash out of this, but I think I can get her before... Cool, okay. Yeah, so, want to just keep her moving, keep me moving. We're going to take some damage from tight deadline. There's no avoiding it here, especially if this thing blocks my projectiles. My droppings from Boldy drop my projectiles. Try and get some... Okay, we took 5 damage from tight deadline. There we go. Dropping Trippy Shot there definitely helped. And most importantly, we did not lose a Death Defiance because we're not going to have Athena on this run. Which is a little scary, especially going into EM4. You probably want Athena for her dash and for her Death Defiance for funds.
Your progress has been duly noted, boy.
Alright, as said before, we need Zeus boons because Zeus is really kind of gatekeeping our build at this point. Thankfully, we have most of our core boons at this point, so we have... we won't be offered core boons from Zeus aside from his call, which honestly isn't a bad idea. But again, the main reason I'm not taking it right now is if we could stack up some good Hermes boons on top of everything else, get a Greater Haste or Hyper Sprint into Rush Delivery, I could get a lot of extra damage that I already could be set up for. Basically, the boons we're looking for at this point, we want Double Strike. And let me explain Double Strike real quick. So, if you've ever run Zeus's special before on Chiron, you know that there's an internal cooldown. Basically, you fire 8+ arrows at enemies with Chiron, and yet only 2 or 3 lightning bolts are dropped when you have Zeus's special with this weapon. Why is that? So, Zeus's special has an internal cooldown, as do I think any lightning bolt dropping effects of Zeus, except for how they interact with Double Strike. So basically, when you use the Zeus, let's talk about just Zeus special on Chiron. You drop a lightning bolt with about 2 or 3 times per the 8 arrows fired by Chiron. But what if you had Double Strike? Well, Double Strike seems to ignore that. I would love that Chaos Gate, but I cannot ignore a Zeus boon. Zeus is objectively what we need as much as possible of right now. We get Sea Storm this early, we're going to be carried through the rest of the run pretty much until Extreme Measures 4 fight with Hades.
You called? Good, I'm not too late. Got here as quickly as I could.
Always happy to see you, Than. Thanks for showing up. We'll drop this wherever you're summoning in enemies. So anyway, so basically, if Double Strike does not seem to have an internal cooldown, it's just a % chance of activation. So if you get a fair level, a couple palm levels on Double Strike, and then just start launching Sea Storm or Thunder Flourish arrows at enemies, they are going to get melted immediately because every arrow it could in theory drop a lightning bolt. And that makes Double Strike objectively busted. I don't know if it's a glitch or if it's just intended because of it being a base % chance. I am not enjoying this room, Kiwi. There are a lot of things that are hitting me. Too many projectiles. I'm still winning the duel, or if you want to call it a duel, the Than challenge. There we go. Okay, give us our heart. Thank you, Than.
You beat me once again.
I think I probably reroll at least once here to see if we can get something better.
No thanks.
No Sea Storm and no Double Strike, but we will take High Voltage. That will set us up for Zeus's Legendary, which is also really good here. We'll go for the Shop. As much as I'd like another palm on some of our palmable boons, the Shop could give us one of the gods we're looking for. Poseidon or Zeus, either can offer us the duo, and Scintillating Feast, again, would be pretty fun. We're getting it, I think.
Zag,
Yep.
Your uncle's passing through. Not Dad, the other one, I mean. And he just wanted to check in, see how you're doing, so...
I thought we were gonna get Scintillating Feast, but no, this is the duo between Poseidon and Dionysus, because he's saying it's not Zeus.
Aha! There you are, my my little nephew? Dionysus showing you the ropes or what? You want a real feast, though? You just stick with me. I'll take my blessing. Go.
Okay, honestly, an early exclusive
Anyway,
access.
We're here, man, waiting up for you. We know you're gonna make it, I would say, eventually.
All right, there it is, exclusive access. Honestly, premium vintage isn't unappealing here, but we can get some really good power-ups with this. Let's see.
Use this.
Yeah, I tossed that on the special. We're up to 132% base damage on the special, not bad. And with an Artemis here, what I'm looking most for is pressure points, hopefully. Ugh, Mega Gorgon. Thankfully, if she does teleport away pretty quickly, but if you time your attack fast enough, you can usually get an attack off on her before she teleports. I'm just trying to pop her as quick as possible because I die to these mini bosses so fast. I'm gonna let Boldy do. Okay, well that wasn't what I expected to have happen. All right, Mega Gorgon died to Jolted. I'm gonna drop this right here. Fun fact: the Skull Crusher's the Skull Crusher can start being damaged upon before he even touches down on the ground. You can start damaging him. So it's basically once he spawns, once he starts dropping, he has a hitbox.
Olympus, I accept this message.
All right, well, I guess I can't complain about an epic tier Hunter's Mark since we have Artemis's attack. We're getting it off fairly reliably. Pressure points is objectively the better option here, but we don't have it, and support fire is just a meme. So let's go for another palm. Okay, that'll again if we can keep tagging that onto either Jolted or. I wish we had double strike. I wish we were just setting up for double strike a little bit here. I don't know why I thought I could go to that shop just yet. No matter. So we're still hunting for Sea Storm, but honestly the build is feeling pretty strong at this point. We've got a lot of good things going for us. I'm hoping that that trippy shot landed and killed that guy. I do not know for sure. Like, where is everyone? Why aren't you spawning into play with me? Mirage shot and trippy shot, pretty awesome. I really hope it synergizes with Scintillating Feast so it drops double the amount of lightning bolts. Don't know if it does or not, but we'll find out, I suppose. And, Gorgon. The Gorgon heads are always a bit of a problem for me. I seem to be, I don't know why, I'm just so incredibly prone to getting hit by their little petrifying stones. Here we go. All right, what do we got? Ooh, 67% crit chance with Hunter's Mark. Not gonna complain about that, I suppose. Not my preferred option. All right, Hermes versus Dionysus. So if we go Dionysus, there's a decent chance of seeing Scintillating Feast and knocking that off of duo boons that could take away what we get from Zeus. Alternatively, Hermes sets us up for rush delivery shenanigans, but I think I'm more interested in trying to get rid of Scintillating Feast so that we can guarantee Sea Storm later on. So I'm gonna go for Dionysus here. The fun thing about what we have going on now is because I have Rupture, just dropping a special without tagging enemies with the attack is still super viable, because enemies with Forced Overtime are always going to be moving towards me. And it gives me the benefit of potentially getting them to start taking damage while I'm repositioning, even if I'm not directly attacking them. Like that mega, what is it, Skull Crusher? That's it, Skull Crusher. That Skull Crusher just got melted there before he could even rise up into the air. Our HP is looking a little dire, but we have 3 Death Defiances still.
Toast, man, to your health. Or to the lack of it for anybody who gets on your bad side, yeah?
Yeah, alright, what have we got? Scintillating Feast. He heard us. He gave it to us. Alright, that's amazing. Okay, what do we get next? We're probably up to the shop. Yep, there's the shop. What do you have here? Coin, I will take this because we want to afford a boon in the end shop here.
Stop him, riches, now.
And we're making decent time. So, I definitely recommend if you are surrounded by a lot of enemies, especially if you have Piercing Fire, just spray and pray. You will not one-shot any enemy, but you will set them up for being killed shortly thereafter, or dying to your status ailments. Look at that. Pretty clean. Pretty clean.
You waste my time.
And now we can definitely afford a God Boon. Can't afford a God Boon plus a Palm, but oh well. God Boon is definitely more important here. Hopefully, it is any of the gods that I want to see, and it is most importantly Zeus. And there it is. Ooh, but that double strike is so tempting, but what is double strike without Sea Storm, you know? So we take Sea Storm here and we hope to see double strike sooner or later. Epic tier double strike though, I really like. There's a part of me that thinks this is the better choice now, because I'm probably gonna see a lower tier double strike if I try again later. Now, but Sea Storm will carry us.
Electric.
We'll hope we have a decent chance of seeing at least one more Zeus boon by the end of the run. Hopefully sooner than later, but at least by Hades.
What's the matter, Lerny? You seem quite upset.
But yeah, now just watch our damage melt Lerny, because we have status privilege going now. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a Sisyphus here for the HP. Probably that was only 160 damage. I should have held on it, but still. It means that I don't have to worry about taking damage later. I will probably, in between phases, try and pick up those items that I have dropped from Sisyphus, because I feel like they're going to get in the way more than they're going to help. They're blocking my shots. Let's grab that. I got hit as a penalty for that, because this Bloodless over there got me, but oh well. Chin slamming Lerny is a little bit of an annoyance, but okay. I'm pretty happy with where our damage is, because Scintillating Feast plus everything else. Like, man, we get Double Strike and we are set. There are a few boons we need on top of that. Aside from, I would want Pressure Points, I would want Zeus's Legendary. Poseidon boons are at this point kind of a meme. They would just make our special deal more damage, which isn't strictly necessary, but like, look at us melt those heads. Alright, we bail out because I want to avoid losing a Death Defiance if I can, and I think we're more than able to. Like, look at that. This is the power of Sea Storm on Chiron. It has a very slow start, but once you get it going, you are rolling down a hill like a mad boldy.
What lurks in the river Phlegathon.
And again, if we can manage to get Double Strike, that's probably the single greatest boon we can get on this run. So you know we're not going to be offered it at this point because we got everything else we wanted, right? Pressure Points, Zeus Legendary, and then, I mean, Double Wave or Second Wave from Poseidon is kind of a meme. What is it? Wave Pounding would be decent because that would just boost our overall base damage from the special.
Bloodless failed to stop you once again
Against bosses, and at this point, it's not terrible to take Zeus's call. I would ideally get my 2 Hermes boons first, but we played favorites here, and we didn't get punished. Dionysus did give us Scintillating Feast. So I think here I'm going to take the coin purse. We need more money to buy more boons from the shop, and that's our best way of doing it. These are kind of appealing for having Scintillating Feast and Trippy Shot, but I don't think it's worth it. And there's definitely nothing I want to sell to that shop right now. I could see myself parting with Thunder Dash, but it's a nice way of getting a little bit of extra damage out, and more importantly, applying Jolted. And once we get assuming we get Double Strike, that'll be pretty fun too. High Voltage is kind of meme-worthy here, though. All right, we have gotten all the boons we want from Dionysus aside from Premium Vintage. Objectively speaking, Hermes is the better pull here. Ideally, we see a second Hermes, although I think we usually only see about 1 Hermes per Elysium. The shops may be kind and try to offer us... Oh gosh, this is why I'm happy I don't have Hide and Security on, because that would have done 100 damage instead of 20. Anyway, like, I don't think we're likely to see a second Hermes in Elysium, because I'm used to only seeing 1. I see Hermes show up sometimes twice in Asphodel, but usually if we're going to see a second Hermes, it's going to be by virtue of him showing up in a shop. Or not at all. But we will see. We will certainly see.
You've got a ways to go yet, boss. Good news is the slowest part of this particular trip is hereby over now.
I think it was already over before. Alright, ooh, which of these do I want? I mean, Hyper Sprint gives more damage, but the nature of Chiron, I am kind of sitting still more often, so I could just take the flat 40% damage reduction. I still feel like Hyper Sprint does more damage for us. I'm going to Dash Strike off, and it's 0.7 seconds duration. I think I can pull that off fine. Alright. There's our second hammer. Honestly, let's go for it. If we get either Concentrated Volley or Relentless Volley, we're going to get a huge DPS up. Between the two, I probably want Relentless Volley because it's funnier, but I certainly won't care what I get of those two. Or we're just unlucky and get only attack boons, because certainly I have had more than my fair share of runs where I am running a special or attack-focused build and I get hammers that don't respect that idea. It'll be fine. Toppy is, of course, peeping up a storm in the background. I hear her just hollering to you in the bathroom, I presume, Kiwi, since I know you're awake now. Oh goodness, that chariot just did not want to wait for me. Alright, I'm thinking, like, if I had to take an attack boon, I'd probably want either my Power Shot charges up faster, or I don't want Sniper Shot. Sniper Shot is really hard to use well because its range is kind of unappealing, and while I will keep my distance from most enemies, that doesn't mean I'm going to keep my distance well enough that I can get into the sweet spot of Sniper Shot, which is surprisingly limiting in terms of how you have to play. Let's see. Perfect shot, concentrated volley, or point blank shot. Concentrated volley is amazing. +3 base damage for each consecutive hit to a foe, taking into account that we already have an 132% damage modifier. So by the 8th shot, we have done 3 times 8, which is 24 extra bonus damage. And that's not like each shot has done more damage. It's just, and 24 with 132% damage modifier, like it adds up really fast. Like our special is going to be melting single targets now.
What's for sale?
Light of Ixion is an appealing offer. Let's see what we have next. A Hermes Gate. All right, I'm going to take this Chaos Gate because we can still afford almost 2 boons, and if we get a little bit more coin, we should be able to afford 2 boons. And what that means for me is I could potentially, if I don't get offered something good in this room, I could get a good Chaos boon. Special attack damage is probably the thing we're most appealed by. Boon rarity to get a better chance of getting a high tier double strike, also not bad. But there are definitely some good offerings that Chaos could bring. Honestly, another cast stone wouldn't be terrible. All right. No rush delivery, but I can reroll here at least once and see if we get anything better. Greatest reflex. Sadly, we do not get rush delivery, but greatest reflex is not a bad option. Honestly, though, swift flourish, 30% attack speed or special speed. I'll take it. All right, let's see what our options for the next 2 chambers are. Coin versus Artemis. I want Artemis's pressure points more than I want a Chaos Gate, frankly, because I think the crit damage would be insane for us.
You again.
All right, let's see how mad our...
Good. It feels as though I haven't crushed the life from anything in ages.
Unfortunately, Asterius, that is true, and it's going to continue being true. Like, look at your HP. Just say goodbye to your HP. Yeah, all right. You know what? I'm dashing fairly often, even with my special, and with the special attack speed going up. Oh, hi, Asterius. Oh my goodness, how did that miss us? Bull, you're pathing, I swear. It's as unpredictable as my cat sometimes. Oh my goodness. Ah! Oh, come on. How did he not? That is so little damage. I'm so used to having heavy, hard labor on. It's nice to only get hit for 21s there. But I really, like, I understand that you need to stand next to a door or a wall to block that. But I can't always pull that off in the time that it needs to reposition. You really have to be mindful of your positioning against Asterius at all times. But this should finish him. He's going to die to Rupture. There we go. Overall, a pretty clean bull. Got hit once.
Stand down.
But yeah, our damage is there. Our damage is online. All right, Artemis, please, 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 please give us pressure points. We need a nice high tier pressure points. Come on. There it is. Okay, 4% crit chance. Gotta love it. A little bit of HP here isn't terrible, but I just need more Zeus boons. That's all I want. And we have not seen Zeus show up. Hopefully we see a offering of the mid shop sooner or later, although sometimes you just don't get offered the mid shop for whatever reason. Probably just the nature of how your runs are going, or it was offered and I completely ignored it because there was another boon I wanted more, another door reward that I saw that I wanted more. But like, look at us melt these enemies. Like, Extreme Measures 4 Hades is still a huge threat. I'm not saying this run is over even by a, like, not even close to being over, but at least I won't have to worry about pots. I think pots are terrifying. The other funny thing is I could, in theory, just go point blank and shoot larger enemies with the special without tagging them with the attack, and most of my hits should still manage to clip them. Alright. Hopefully that's the end of the wave. There we go. Okay, HP, come on, give me something good. There's our shop. I think this is the mid shop. Could be the end shop. It is the end shop. Okay. Oh, no, it is the mid shop. Excellent. And then, ooh, an Artemis Poseidon trial. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Poseidon doesn't offer any boons that I would want to palm at this point, so let's palm first. 75% crit chance on Hunter's Mark. I really, really, really would have liked to see this landing on our Zeus spoons, unfortunately. Oh well, 75% crit chance. Actually, we're almost at 100% crit chance. Oh, and there's a 40% wave pounding. Okay, thank you, Poseidon. All right, so we now deal 40% more damage with the base damage on our special, which again, combined with a very high base modifier and concentrated volley, means we're gonna be chunking bosses. All right, I have a lot more trouble dealing with Poseidon, so I'm gonna take him first here. Breaking Wave, Hydraulic Might, Sunken Treasure. I mean, Hydraulic Might will make us clear chambers extremely quickly with our special. Breaking Wave is just, could get us a Poseidon Legendary, which would be funnier, I think. Like, this is such a good boon for the first 10 seconds, and then it's completely useless. And, like, I will melt through sticks if I take this. But Breaking Wave is hilarious, I'm taking it. Because it will also be funny in sticks, Breaking Wave specifically.
So that's your choice. Maybe you're more like my relatives than I'd care to admit.
Yeah, Artemis, I've got bad news for you. It's nothing about against you. It's just like Artemis, you are my favorite god. You are my favorite god in this game. I mean, if you look at the boons that I consistently take, Hunter's Mark and pressure points are taken on basically every run you show up, if I have the option of doing so. The issue is you are also for me, the easiest trial to deal with because you're not actually that accurate with your shot. Even with forced overtime, where are you aiming, girl? Where are you aiming? Oh well, I really shouldn't taunt the gods like this. You know, the thing is, in terms of Greek mythology, I think Artemis and Athena were always my favorite of the gods, too. They just seemed cool. I think part of the reason I thought Artemis was my favorite goddess was just because I was a big fan of the Artemis Fowl books as a kid, and I thought the name Artemis was really cool. That may have been my understanding of Artemis, like the concept of the name Artemis, before I knew she was a Greek goddess.
To say you handled yourself pretty well back there. I can't stay mad after a show like that.
That, or there may have been a character in what is it, Cyborg or Android 009, a really old anime that I watched as a kid very briefly. More damage from crits. 30% damage up isn't terrible, specifically for crits. Support fire is funny, though. Support fire is funny. Support fire can eat your Hunter's Mark, though, which is kind of lame about it. But if it's critting itself, like we are rapid firing attacks so much, I'm gonna take it. Another Poseidon room. We still have enough coin to afford a god boon, so I don't mind taking another Poseidon here. Just a shame that we're not seeing any Zeus boons, but here's our chance to get second wave, because breaking wave is a prerequisite for it. Second wave would just be meme worthy. It's not that much more, it's not exactly more damage, it's mostly just watching enemies slide all over the world because they've been hit by everything that knocks them back. Like, they're taking knockback effects from our special every hit. It's only like a minor knockback, I think. I think they made it so like single target hits do less, or like large, heavy single target hits do more damage in terms of knockback than smaller multi-hits, to make sure that the multi-hits are more able to land. I feel like that's a balancing issue. Like, you wouldn't want to take Poseidon's boons on multi-hit weapons if they were always pushing enemies away outside of the range of the next couple hits. All right, Poseidon Legendary. What is this run, Kiwi? Alright, second wave. Your boons with knockaway effects shove foes multiple times. Combo that with breaking wave, and enemies are going to be taking a lot of damage running into walls. Now, Artemis here isn't terrible, but we really, really want to see Zeus. So I'm going to go this way, and if Dionysus shows up, we just cry about it, or we have to buy Artemis. Could go for the palm instead and toss that on something fun, hopefully. It's a one or the other situation here, unfortunately. I don't know, I'm getting greedy. Let me look at my codex. What do we have left to get from Artemis if we were to get from Artemis? Her call would be kind of funny if we just one-shot, like, launch it all and just watch Hades get melted. Clean kill we already took. No, we didn't. So clean kill I could take, but it's really not that much more damage, and we can't get Hunter's Instinct without... Alright, so basically it's her call or bust at this point. I think I'll just take the palm. Hopefully we can put it on something I want. There we go, 142% damage on our special now. Lovely. That only gave us one palm level, I guess. Does exclusive access not affect palms in the shop? That's really lame. Oh well, more special damage is great. Not gonna complain too much.
I always shall rise up to thwart your wicked plans, monster.
If you say so, Theseus. Here, have a kiss. Mwah. Okay, that didn't... I misaimed that, unfortunately, but like, look at these guys' HP just getting absolutely melted. If I can tag Theseus with an attack, just...
Imminently overrun, I can assure you, blackguard.
Asterius, you missed there, bud. All this crit damage is just insane, and we're bouncing Hunter's Mark back and forth between them if we keep them close. Theseus is already popped. Asterius is phased. Like, this build is insane. This build is objectively insane. Okay, Asterius spinning here is a little unideal for us, but I can probably drop a Scintillating Feast there and get a bunch of lightning damage. And Piercing Arrow will ignore Theseus' shield altogether. Like, look at this damage. This is insane. And pop goes the bull. Wow, that was an incredible Heroes. I think that was about a 30-second Heroes fight. Alright, well this run is going great, but again, we're not out of the hill, over the hill, out of the woods, whatever, yet, because there is a Extreme Measures for Hades waiting for us. That said, strong drink to heal up basically all the damage we took. Very happy to see that. Now, what do I take here? I would love to take the Zeus Keepsake a second time, but we can't do that. Do I just go... I'd probably just go for safety with Acorn, honestly. Unfortunately, with how we're currently built, we're missing double strike. And we're losing out on a huge damage potential from double strike, but looking at our damage, do we really actually need it is the question I have to ask.
For coin.
I could sell support fire here. That would that sets us up to basically afford a boon. And support fire isn't really doing much damage, and it can be potentially eating our hunter's mark, so I'm going to do that, honestly.
That's one less
Because
boon.
if we see Hermes here, there's still a decent chance we get rush delivery. We get rush delivery. Oh my goodness, our damage is going to be insane. But again, just getting any level of double strike will massively increase our DPS. It'll be a right shame if it doesn't show up, and knowing Zeus and my RNG and sticks in particular, let's place a bet. I'm going to bet that Zeus is not in the shop or in the chambers, and we're going to cry a little bit. So there's Dionysus, there's no Hermes, and there's no Zeus. So Dream is dead, but let's go ahead and take this Poseidon boon. I'm a little bummed about that. Double strike is just so darn good. I was building it up from the very start of the run, but I mean, at the same time, did you just see that chamber full of rodents? Because I didn't. It's very rodent free right now, I would say. Like, it's insane. Like, oh gosh, I would have died to that guillotine if I had hidden security on, but like, I don't even need to tag enemies with my attack. I just walk in, press special, and watch them die, because they are getting popped by double wave breaking wave. Like I was saying before, Poseidon is absolutely busted in sticks because the chambers are so small, you're always slamming enemies into foe, and if you have any boons that increase the damage of enemies getting knocked into walls, like look at that, we crit for 900 because that enemy got slammed into a wall, and while we don't get to benefit from that in, goodbye mini boss, that mini boss didn't last long enough for us to see the other mini boss drop in. It does seem to be very positioning based, though unfortunately that guy didn't get hit into walls, so he didn't immediately die, but still. Wow. Just wow, we have disgusting amounts of damage here.
Olympus, I accept this message.
It falls off, it of course falls off against Hades because we can't knock him around.
Wonderful.
But it doesn't matter that much, honestly, because that 40% damage wave pounding, that's pretty nice. All right, Dionysus, what have you got to offer? Let's take your boon.
Pleasure doing business.
Dionysus's aid. It's pretty solid damage, all things considered. Do I take that over Artemis's aid? Artemis's aid is only good for its greater call. Dionysus's aid is all around good, and it will help me clear out the mini bosses that Hades spawns, so we'll take that. And I'll grab this first palm.
Power of Olympus.
Yeah, I guess. Am I just mistaken about how exclusive access works? Let me see. Oh, I misunderstood what this does. I mix it up with the Aphrodite Poseidon duo. It's not that it increases our palm levels, it increases the rarity, so every boon we find for the rest of the run is epic tier. I kind of missed that. I was wondering why, because I noticed we were getting a lot of epic tier boons offered. Oh my goodness, that's insane. A shame about never seeing double strike, I guess. It's a good thing I didn't take the double strike in that shop then, because I would have locked myself out of Seastorm given our RNG situation. I want all of these rooms, honestly, and we have the damage to kill them very quickly. So why don't I go for the HP first? So if we get a mini boss, we're saving time. But I will, at the very least, take that Artemis chamber, and that palm chamber is certainly looking tasty. I will need a minimum of 5 minutes to kill extreme measures for Hades, just to make sure that I'm not running up against tight deadline. Because if tight deadline starts to tick and I'm feeling the pressure of trying to kill him faster, I am going to likely throw the run by playing less safe. So we'll keep an eye on our
Wealth.
We'll keep an eye on our timer here. Now, I am within killing range if I'm not careful, so I'm going to drop a Sisyphus here, honestly. But everyone died before the Sisyphus could even drop Oldie on them. All right, so 8 times 4, so that's 24 HP. We're at 45 HP total now. And okay, we got the 2 chamber 6, unfortunately, but not bad. That's a lot of extra HP, 50 HP from that Centaur Heart. And let's see, we're at 300 coins, so I can go ahead and grab another palm. Grab the fish first. Well, I will say we are missing 2 significant DPS boons, Zeus's Legendary and Double Strike, but I'm not left for wanting much else.
That's a fight.
So I can't complain. This run is insanely stacked. And again, this is not the build that I necessarily recommend for 32 heat, but it is working. It is working very well. I'll take pressure points here, 2% more crit chance.
Extra blessing.
Not really that incredible, but let's go ahead and grab the Artemis boon first. And then we'll see how I'm doing on time, whether I'm going to also go for the palm or not. I think at this point, really, the only boon that Artemis offers that I would take is support fire as the meme that it is. Again, I know I sold it for money to try and like get a god boon, but the god that I wanted to buy wasn't even here, and it did get us the palm early, so right, I forgot. I do have Dionysus's Call. I should use it off cooldown. Because the poison damage that Dionysus does is incredible, and if it crits with Hunter's Mark, it kind of gets bugged, I think, and like keeps applying even after Hunter's Mark gets cleared and keeps critting. But like these poor guys, I just walk in, I fire a volley of arrows, and it's over. They just go flying everywhere. Like, watch this. I'm not even gonna like. I almost cleared the room without even using Chiron the way Chiron is meant to be used. We have the most incredible AoE build we could ever ask for, and that means that even these annoying giant chambers of sticks are going to be fairly forgiving. Mostly, I just need to not wander into traps. And what's crazy, though, is because of pressure points and Hunter's Mark, I am constantly critting, and I am constantly reapplying Hunter's Mark to other enemies because of how Hunter's Mark worked. So in rooms with a lot of enemies, they're just going to be bouncing crits left and right. Like, we have, and again, the thing about it is, if we have a room with a lot of enemies in it, I have so many multi-hit abilities that Pressure Points is constantly being popped, and Hunter's Mark has a 75% chance of showing up, so, like, it's guaranteed, basically. Alright, Hunter's Instinct, honestly, probably the best choice here, because we can get God Gauge filled up extremely fast.
Enough of this place.
Because of all the things I just described. Let's see, we're at 7 minutes. Do I go for the palm? Honestly, the palm is probably not going to have that big effect of an effect on our outcome.
Cerberus accepts the prince's foul offering.
All right, Kiwi, let's take one of the most broken builds on Chiron I have ever had.
Thank you, boy. And
put it right up against Zeus. Hades. Oh my goodness. Why do I get them mixed up so often? It's weird. Maybe it's just because I build so many Zeus boons into Hades and count on their damage. I don't know. I'm annoyed by it. I'm really annoyed by it.
Come on.
Come all this way again to fall to me. Would that you paid me such respects back at the house.
Hades, you know full well that we don't respect you in any place. Well, okay, well maybe Zagreus is becoming a little bit more respectful now that your relationship is being patched up a tad, but let's be honest, I am not going to be respectful here. We're just going to kite you around, tag you with Rupture so you take a ton of damage. You run away, but it doesn't matter. We've got one bold, we need to remember that too. Can I proc Hunter's Mark here and just have you guys crit each other? No, I cannot. Unfortunately, that's the one place where Hunter's Mark does truly fall off. And that's Hades, because you can't reliably bounce crits between enemies. I have taken a lot of hits, which is unfortunate. But we have Acorn. Mega Gorgon's going to be really annoying if she does manage to get her stoning effect off on us. But, like, she wandered into Scintillating Feast. And now she just gets punished for it. Like, look at her, she's gone. I don't need to stay super close to Hades for too long.
To me, riches. Destroy my kin and an eternal torment to you if you speak of this.
Giant Skull Crusher is a lot easier to manage when you don't have him dropping big AoEs. Those are the things that seem to be prone to hitting me. I'm loving the special attack speed. This build is just objectively insane. I'm gonna drop Dionysus Call here because that'll help me kill these guys faster. Oh, hey, Hades. Like, I really don't think I even need to bother caring about Hades' friends here because I melt him. If I drop the call, I can AoE everyone and get the poison applied and hopefully kill them. There we go. Okay, and then there's just a Hades left. Let's drop this. My goodness, Kiwi, this run is off. That was the easiest EM4 phase 1 I have ever had. I'm out of Acorn charges, but like, we are so stacked. What a run. All right, Hades, I got bad news for you. Like, you can hit me all you want, you're still gonna die. And you summoning pots, I turned off hide and security. So your pots mean, well, if I had gotten hit there, I would have like instantly lost the Death Defiance probably. But because hide and security is off, I'm fine. I'm gonna let I could have dodged that. I was like waiting for it to go off, and I still timed my dodge wrong. That was unfortunate. All right, we'll drop our Greater Call here because he's healing, but like, look at our DPS here. And again, we could have potentially had double this DPS with Double Strike. Or maybe not fully double, but it would feel like that. Whatever. Alright, here's Cerberus. I need to be careful with the pots. Where's the Cerby going? Oh, well, I got hit. Oh, well. Oh, hey, lasers. I think he's supposed to laser. Oh my goodness. Well, that was unfortunate. So, again, like, this is what I mean. Like, Chiron, you are constantly kiting around trying to reposition. You're way more likely to get hit by pots than I would say compared to the melee weapons I've run. Or even Hestia, frankly. Oh no. Oh, well. But like, this is fine. This is so free. Like, I'm sweating. I have to sweat a little bit, but not very much at all. Oh my goodness, how many pots have I gotten hit by? I am so glad I turned off hide and security. All right, final phase, here we go.
This is it.
Instantly darknesses. I'm gonna just drop scintillating feasts. He's probably gonna go for a laser here. No, maybe not. Okay. I knew he was gonna. I'm starting to learn his patterns. Like, I don't do enough extreme measures 4 to fully know what Hades' patterns are.
Even my wretched
Oh gosh. Using the Greater Call because it offers iframes is always recommended. We're still eating it. Like I said, like the run is not entirely free, but it's fine. We've got good damage. I just need to focus on positioning. This is a free Boldy chance, so we're gonna drop Boldy here. Oh gosh, what is he doing? Oh, he's healing. I should be DPSing then. Picking these up because they're blocking my damage. All right. Bail out of lasers, and remember, you can lob these over. If you aim them correctly, you can actually lob the trippy shots over those little walls. Dropping Call to try and get some damage off on him because I can't keep track of where he is. He's summoning pots, so he should be standing still. I suspect lasers, yeah. How did I know? Something felt kind of glowy in the moment. And 3, 2, Dionysus, 1, and go. We had so much damage.
It seems I was no match for you this time.
I think what this proved is that I'm still really bad at extreme measures for Hades, but we were carried by our build. Like, if Hades taunted us with it was the favor of the Olympians and the cowardice of your bow that carried you, I would not argue with him on this one, but still.
I must go.
That was an insane run. All right. Yeah, no, I will say this again. When you run Aspect of Chiron, which in my opinion is probably the easiest way to get a 32 heat, your first 32 heat win, I recommend going Dionysus special and building around the Aphrodite and Ares duos with Dionysus, and then just kiting enemies to oblivion. That was how I did it, and I think it's the most forgiving way to do it. But, I mean, like, look at that. 4 really good duo boons, but I feel like out of all of these, Mirage Shot probably didn't matter that much, and I do want to honor, where is it? Mirage Shot. There you are. I do kind of want to honor, where is it? That's 75% crit chance plus, what is it with our attack? Our attack had 15% chance, so we had 90% crit chance with the most stacked Sea Storm build I have ever had. It was disgusting. Like, all we needed was to crit one enemy, and then the rest of the room just dies. It's amazing. All right, there we go. What a run. 129 win streak. We're almost up to a nice even 130. All right, Kiwi, let's go say goodnight to the house, and then we'll call it an episode. My parents are coming for breakfast soon.
Zagreus experiences some sort of joyous outcome for a change. In contrast to the arbitrary and unfortunately painful death he shall experience now.
Yeah, I would say the 3 most viable Chiron builds, the best one objectively is the Dionysus build that I mentioned before, specifically for just playing super safe, turn off tight deadline, max out calisthenics program, that sort of thing. Kite out enemies, never get hit.
Thank you, thank you.
Like, if you are close to an enemy, you're playing it wrong, sort of thing. Easiest way to get 32 heat cleared in my book.
Remember your training, lad.
Next build is the one you just saw, Sea Storm, with Poseidon special. Incredible DPS potential, but really rough early game, so it's not for everyone.
The many-headed Cerberus is busy thinking of his next savory meal.
And probably the other one that I could consider,
More pets are certainly in order here.
that on paper I think would work really well, is Ares special, dropping Doom, stacking Impending Doom and Dire Misfortune, and then go for Curse of Longing with Aphrodite's
I
attack.
must admit, that was a job well done back there.
Because the amount of damage you can stack with Ares' Dire Misfortune,
Please keep me well apprised of all of your incredible achievements, Zagreus.
because you're hitting what, like a minimum of 8 times.
Oh, hi.
Cerberus featured house servant.
The DPS potential is insane. One could make an argument that Demeter's special is not bad. It's got a very high base modifier, and
Oh, Prince, I'm supposed to be at work, so I can't talk, okay?
it has a high base damage, and then on top of that, one second.
Appreciate your patience.
I guess I should get back in line at some point. Cause of death feasting. Not a bad way to go, honestly. I'll talk to these guys and then I'll finish my thought.
Your expertise is needed once again.
Then very well, Mother. I'll begin right away and be back soon.
Okay, so it would be great if I could finish my thought, but I forgot. Oh, right, Demeter. So you could make an argument for stacking, getting like, what is it, Arctic Burst or whatever, the one that once you get 10 stacks of shield, an enemy explodes and does an AoE. I could see that working, and Chiron is really good for getting all stacks of Demeter applied very quickly. So there's that. There is the thought that that is decent, but I think Demeter falls off a little bit because that's really all she has going for her. But those would be probably, in my consideration, the best possible boons you could get for a Chiron build. But with all that said, what a run. What an incredible run. And now, unfortunately, I have to pick another sword, so we're going to be going a cast build, of course. I have Zagreus and Nemesis left. Doesn't really particularly matter which one I choose. I'll figure out who I'm going to run when I'm in the mood to run the sword, because right now I am definitely not in the mood to run the sword. So I have to end recording anyway, so what does it matter? Kiwi, with all that said...
Come on, boyo, let's gab and more stabbing over here.
Skelly says it best, right? With all that said, Kiwi, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. If you're sleeping, I hope you're sleeping well. I love you, and in the next one, I will power through another sword run at 32 heat, which will make me cry a little bit inside, but will hopefully be blessed by good RNG like this run. Or I have just set myself up for a huge death flag. Take your pick. Until then, I love you, and I will see you in the next one, Kiwi. Take care now.